Hey everyone, and welcome to Out of Combat, our 7th episode for Campaign 2. I think it's 7, right? That was episode 7, yeah.
Yeah, I wrote down 7 in my notes.
Perfect. Maximus, the Dungeon Master. I am here with Mac and Cheese Please, who plays Taj, as well as Virtual Spectre, who plays Hayden. And we are here to talk about anything and everything up to and including the 7th episode. So, What's on your mind, everybody? What do you think?
I actually have a question for you, Max.
Okay.
How is it, or did you even expect us? We're all kind of naughty. Like, how is it having like naughty players? Were you anticipating that? And how do you feel about it?
In the episode when VS was like, Hayden's getting close to the desk, I'm like, this is the kind of group that they're going to be. Like, I knew it immediately.
This was your first inkling that we were like maybe the bad guys.
Yeah, I mean, I knew that some of y'all have a pretty rough like backstory, like, you know, just a little left of center of the law kind of thing. But I didn't think y'all were going to try and pickpocket the man right in front of him. But I mean, that's fine. Like, it's whatever you all want to do. And I know that as players, you all are aware that if things go south, there's consequences, since you already spent some time in a jail cell. So, hey, it's your sandbox. You can play with it however you want. Just don't feel bad if you try to take someone's toy and they take it back from you. So
sure. How do you feel about it, VS? Like our campaign 1, I think Vin, and like it kind of had a feeling like Valken was like a little skewed, but like not really, you know, like Vin was really the only like chaotic, does whatever she wants, you know, but everyone else was pretty good. But here it seems like at least 3 of us are kind of naughty.
Well, in campaign 1, Valken's his backstory, he was like a street kid that did a lot of like stealing and whatnot.
Okay.
And then he obviously got more discipline from his teacher. But I think a lot of the times Valken is like, he's just kind of lazy a lot. So it's like, well, I don't even want to try to like do like steal stuff or whatever. But
right,
you know, he probably could have been convinced to do it because why not? But
so how does that compare to Hayden for this new campaign?
We're still very early. There's still a lot about Hayden that the rest of the party doesn't know. I'm not going to reveal here.
Ooh, secrets.
Ooh.
Oh, sure. I mean, yeah. I mean,
everyone's got secrets.
Things will come out in time.
No fun unless they're shared with everyone. No.
I will say this, Hayden is definitely a much different character personality-wise than Valken was in the first one. He has a set of skills that he's up to this point in his life has put to use in various scenarios. And yeah, he doesn't mind walking the line or listing to one side or the other every now and then. There's a sense of freedom about the way he does things. But I can't really get into more about why he's the way he is. That's something that'll have to be figured out later.
And I think that in that last scene in the office, like, it was almost to where like Hayden was like, yeah, I'll take this bag of coin if I can get away with it. More of just like a crime of opportunity more than anything. It's just like he'll take it if he can get away with it. But
he really wasn't feeling the guy. Like, he's like, this guy's kind of an asshole. He won't miss this extra money that he's got here.
Yeah.
But he's not like, at least from what limited knowledge I have of Taj and Azric, he's not, I will say he doesn't come from like a life of crime, if that makes sense. So he's not like a petty burglar or anything like that.
Sure.
But he has skills and he'll put them to use if he wants to.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say like Taj and Azric are like petty burglars, but like they've lived a life
You've worked
outside
with.
of the law because they weren't accepted for who they are. Like
Right.
they have to work to live kind of vibe. But like I'll read here, I'll share with the pod. So one of another personality trait. So I shared one of them, so I shared her flaw on the episode was I can't resist swindling people who are more powerful than me. But another personality trait is I pocket anything I see that might have some value. So like she's constantly like, ooh, what's on this shelf? Let me grab it. Like she's just like an opportunist at every level.
Yeah, and that's what's interesting about, I think, this particular campaign and like the environment. Like what you said is that they were almost forced to sort of live that life because of, they're not accepted with the whole arcane magic and stuff. Like, you don't have to register, but then you just can't live anywhere where the people are, the civilized people, which is why so many people go to like that.
Be where the people are.
Yeah, which is why so many people go to like the life of crime or like piracy and stuff like that, because they're very much accepted there outside of the law.
Right. Yeah. Because like they make their own law. They're just outlaws, I suppose.
Yeah,
I feel
by
like,
very definition, outlaw.
I feel like since you shared a character flaw, I'll share one for my character, and it's actually the first one listed, and it's his confident attitude sometimes can get him into very risky situations for himself and others.
Okay, I can see how you've been playing that.
So that could be any sort of risky thing, whether it's trying to pilfer somebody's extra cash laying around, or it could be choosing I don't know, to fight something that the party might not have needed to fight. Who knows, whatever the situation is. And he has an ideal where like his morality is sort of that shades of gray, where he feels he has a sort of a disdain for people that live their lives in like these black and white scenarios. So people who absolutely have a rigid way of behaving, he hates that and thinks it's stupid. And he thinks anybody that falls into that trap is just asking for trouble. So
sure.
That's a little bit about his personality there.
Oh, go ahead, Max.
I was going to say what I think is interesting too is you mentioned how Hayden is sort of that morally gray. It feels like Azric and Taj both live in that morally gray. And then you have Cooter, who is like your moral compass of the group almost.
I feel like she's hiding something. She knows shit that she's not telling us.
Yeah, and I feel like
she's hiding something.
It's hard because I feel like sometimes she just says stuff.
There's something there, and like we need to get it out of her for sure.
The rain. This is the worst rain I've seen in decades. It's like, come, really?
Well, and what's interesting about that too is not to leave Emmy out. I feel like Emmy could really go either way because she's so naive about the world outside of where she's from that I think that she's going to kind of grow based on what direction the party takes her.
So like we are her in, because they actually say like this is an IRL thing, not a D&D thing, that your core personality, who you are, is like exemplary of like your 5 closest people to you. It's like bits and pieces of all those personalities, which is why over time you change as a person because your 5 closest people change as the years change, whether that's job, move, partners, etc. So like we definitely could influence Emmy in a way, which like I'm kind of down for because she's driving Taj crazy. Like literally crazy.
Nice. I had a question for you both, and there's a little bit been touched upon it in the game and through RP. And you can see that there's clearly this line of this Church of the Lightsmith and then these other like druids that are battling over like the right to use this whatever place they think is holy in this mountain. Like I want to know both as players and as your characters, like what what do you think about this sort of like rivalry thing? Like, do you have a favored side? Do you care, or is it all for the money?
I think so. Me as like mac and cheese, please. Like, I care about the druids and like
Mhm.
what they want. Like, that's their land and like what they consider sacred and holy. Like, that's like it's kind of like the US taking land that's not theirs, like, is how I
Mhm.
kind of see the lightsmith, you know? And then I guess as Taj, I think she would care about the druids, but like also wants that bag. So like the
Mhm.
druids better pay her to care.
Yeah.
But I think morally she'll like she's more chaotic, but as her flaw is like she can't resist swindling people who are more powerful than her. So if
Mhm.
someone has a lot of power and like she's really manipulative, so if someone's trying to manipulate her, it's almost like this you can't manipulate me. I'm manipulating you, like
Yeah.
kind of thing. So she's going to go against the person who's manipulating her. What about you, VS?
Well, unfortunately, I was not able to be at the session the week
Mhm.
before, so I did not hear firsthand like the druids side of things.
Mhm.
I'm just kind of learning it in today's session what was going on. So
Max, can you refresh us?
I
Yeah.
think I
Yeah.
get it a little bit, but
Yeah, yeah.
um, so for me personally, that sort of situation seems like a very solvable situation. Um, there's got to be something that will benefit both sides of the coin, and they just need to stop being stubborn about it and actually come up with an agreement. Um, there's also a part of me that doesn't like the idea of just like this frivolous task of sending people on a dangerous route where they could die for rock. So
So, well,
I
what
know
was
it's special
uncovered?
rock, but I don't really. But
What was,
Hayden, sorry, go ahead.
well, I was going to say, what was uncovered, VS? I don't recall if you were there or not. It was more like the priest realized that his whatever grandson is like a nitwit and would literally die on this quest. And like it's supposed to be like this quest of honor. It's a badge of honor to like be able to do this and bring back the whatever and like whoa, you it's big pilgrimage. They paid us to do the pilgrimage for him and he just like scooped up the bucket and did diddly squat. You know what I mean? So it was a very corrupt way for him. It was like how Trump's like, I got a small loan of $1 million. It's like
Right.
very much
Yeah, his
like
grandpa paid
that.
his way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Paid his way to honor.
yeah. I picked up on that when I think that we first took the job, or not
Mhm.
when we first took it, but when I was filled in about it. Um, I think for Hayden in this situation, kind of similar to my own thought process. Uh, he's not an overtly religious person, and has almost no familiarity with like druidic customs or anything. So this is a squabble that he is like, I've several times on this journey, I've nearly died. And it seems like I
Literally.
nearly died multiple times for not a whole lot of worth. And I really don't care. These people need to hash it out and figure it out. You know, for him, it's more of like, this is a job. And yeah, there's some beef here, but I don't really know too much about it. And I don't really want to know more. It's just kind of like figure it out. But if this guy's going to give us more work, depending on what that work is, he's like, I'll stick around and I'll keep taking this guy's money
Yeah, I'll
from him.
get paid.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
What's really interesting and something that you'd mentioned, Mac, and I think it's been in sort of like a theme of like what the players are thinking of like, well, it was like the Druids land or the Druids land first. Totally not the case. The Druids don't even live on that mountain. They don't live little
Oh,
secrets. They don't live there. That's a holy site to them, but they don't live next to it or on it or anything like that. which you all
Interesting.
don't know where they live because you haven't
Sure.
been there, but just a little tidbit of like, yeah, they don't like live on that mountain.
Yeah.
Those people were there to make sure no one else goes up there. They were like posted up there as like
Oh,
a party of like, scouts or whatever.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because you mentioned there was like already in the cavern, there was like already old statues for like the lightsmith and whatnot. So like,
Yep.
yeah. So
So
I didn't say anything at that moment. I let our buddy Moves do the talking because again I wasn't there for that session.
yeah.
So I figured he saw the stuff, he talked to the people. I'll let him handle it.
Yeah, and that's why I made him do that history check, because it's not a situation of, well, these people came second. Like, no, everybody came together to this big old continent, and then it was kind of up to them what they wanted to do. So, but yeah, it's a definite, like, both sides have an agenda. It's just the whatever the druids are thinking, like, you don't have their full story for sure.
Now,
That changes things.
on a bigger sort of world level thing here. So arcane magic's despised by most people, but the people that believe in the gods don't necessarily align with the spiritual sort of like natural druidic side of things.
Right.
Okay. I wanted to clarify that because before it sounded like they kind of were, or my understanding was they were not the same, obviously, two different belief systems, but they kind of coexisted relatively. Like
they do.
As long as they're not arcane users, you're kind of like, okay.
Yeah, so there's like the arcane users, which we know their whole stuff, and then you have like the divine and like the more nature, like primal focus, like spirituals, and they inherently coexist because, in the major cities like in Linares, there are people who don't necessarily believe in the pantheon, who still believe in more the spiritual side of things. Like there's some people intermingled. The closer you get to the big city state, the more people that believe in that, patron god, but they definitely coexist. And the main thing that's making this relationship like so tenuous at this moment is because of that clash about the mountain.
Okay. So it's more of a localized thing to that one.
Their specific rivalry is just because, like, hey, you won't let my people in the mountain, and then they say, well, you can't go in there anymore. That's pretty much the base of it. Yeah.
That clarifies a lot for me. So, I mentioned dying a lot or coming close to it.
Yeah.
I had some a pretty intense encounter today.
Yeah. You went down a ton.
Twice.
A ton.
Honestly, a ton is like once is a ton to me. Well, like, and as a player, I don't like going down. The moment I go down, like in my mind, I'm like, I'm not having fun anymore. This is stupid. I hate this. Like it's frustrating as a player to go down.
You all handled it well because when players start going down, because Hayden went down twice, Azric went down once, one more hit and Samuel would have been done.
I would have been down too.
Yeah, that's the danger of 5th edition D&D. When people start going down, it kind of can cascade and get to like a death spiral really quickly, but you guys handled it really well. It's just they had some good rolls in the beginning, and that opening, that crit was just killer for sure.
Yeah, because that took, I mean, I only have 21 HP, so that hit took me down to 8 immediately off the start of the bio. So I was like, well, crap, I can't like be aggressive right now. I don't have many other options. I'm going to try to run away.
I will say
probably
too,
should have dashed and got myself further away, but whatever.
I will say that the plan that you had, Mac, and that you were trying to portray or let Moobs know of, like going invisible and like running, like it almost would have worked. And if I think, and you can always like Monday morning quarterback a battle and stuff, but not like I'm saying you did anything wrong, but I feel like if Azric had made Samuel invisible right off like he was going to do, then at that point all it would have taken is to get him loose, and y'all could have just went because the only person they can see is Hayden. But with Hayden being a rogue, if he uses his action, his movement, and his bonus action, he's going 90 feet every round.
That's
so you were so
stupid.
close to just saying bye, but it just didn't quite work out.
Well, I think we were afraid because I think you had mentioned that if we put him invisible and then he tries to break free, then he's not invisible anymore.
Yeah,
So-
if he attacks it, if he tried to pull, then he could have done that, but it's harder to pull than to hit it.
Yeah, and then
Weak boy.
so like the original plan was we were going to go invisible, get just far enough once everyone was like kind of clear, and then I was going to throw fog cloud to leave them in the dust. It was like
awesome.
the original plan, but then shit got crazy and we deviated. We killed them.
Yeah, it still worked out for sure.
Yeah.
And I feel like your hideous laughter is paying dividends every time that you use it.
It really is. It's weird being an offensive player because or a defensive player because I'm an offensive player. The whole like through and through, I like being like DPS. And like here I am, like, here's a fog cloud. Enjoy. You like this is different. So
yeah, for sure.
And after the sessions when we do roses and thorns, I forgot to do a thorn for myself. And I'm still trying to learn rogue, and I'm trying to learn how a lot of actions that I didn't really have to use as Falcon that I use now, how they interact with things. So like I'm constantly trying to like in my brain think, oh, if I go here and I duck down behind this rock and the enemy can't see me, I can hide. But I gotta realize like there's certain other factors at play that would mean like I can't. So I'm still trying to work on like looking at more angles during a like combat round to strategize more instead of being like I spot a thing, I'm definitely gonna hide there this time, and then when it's not happening, I'm like, oh crap, I don't really have a backup right now.
Yeah, and that's the thing as like a swashbuckler, like you don't really need to hide unless you just want to. And it's a lot easier when you're not in the wide open spaces too. There'll be more opportunities for that. But with that being said, I think that the most interesting thing that went unanswered was why Azric just happened to pop back up to 1 HP. And we're still not going to answer it. You're going to have to keep watching the show because
was I down for that?
I don't remember, but I will say that Azric he just popped back up on his own from his death save. So there are things at play that not everyone knows about that will be interesting to come out as the game goes on. So with that being said, thanks so much for watching Out of Combat. And tune in next time for our next episode 8 on that Friday. That's going to be Friday the 23rd.
At what time, Max? How can they find it?
6 p.m. Pacific. Go check out Twitch. Check out our YouTube. And then, as always, Mondays and Tuesdays are Toma Knowledge and Art Streams. So we'll see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.